Have you ever been struggling to keep to a diet and fail at every attempt? Hi, this is Takatoshi Shibayama, host of the Future Design Podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about intermittent fasting, a diet from millennia ago that survived through the test of time. Science says not only it will help you lose weight, it can prevent diseases and even increase cognitive abilities. Kajal Khurana is a nutritionist, health and business coach, and she talks to us about how to incorporate this diet into her lives and set up a mental model to a healthier lifestyle. So stick around to the end. So we've been hearing a lot about the great benefits about intermittent fasting, and there's many ways to do it, whether it be 16 hours of fasting and then 8 hours of eating, or it could be 5 days a week and then 2 days of resting. So what do you think are the health benefits of intermittent fasting?
See, health benefits are there only if you follow it wisely. If you just go and do extreme things, then you may see the results in the beginning, but in the long run, you don't know what is happening inside your body, how your organs are reacting. Intermittent fasting is good, but if you've never done it before, then you have to start slow, right? Start with 12 hours of no eating. Like if you eat your dinner at 7 p.m., so until next morning, 7 a.m., avoid like even water if you can, but water is still okay. But no tea, no coffee, no fruits, nothing at all. Zero food intake for 12 hours. And then gradually move to 13 hours after 2 weeks, I would say. And then 14 hours. And then 15 hours. If you do this way, then your body doesn't go into shock, right? Now you have never done intermittent fasting and you suddenly don't eat nothing for 16 hours, or some people say 18 hours or 20 hours. Your body will go into shock. So anytime we want to do something or adapt a healthy habit, we will have to take baby steps to do it. There are a lot of health benefits of doing intermittent fasting, and a lot of reasons why we should do is because our ancestors across the globe never ate anything after sunset. And the reason was there was no electricity, there were no equipments to cook, all these things. Whatever the reasons were, they would do everything in the daylight, eat and, finish off their household work before the sunset, and then sleep early. And they would only eat next morning after the sunrise. All right. So when you give this kind of break to your body, to your system, your stomach has to do less work. And B, your body is not releasing too much sugar. Because every time you eat, your body starts to produce insulin. It's an automatic process. So if you're eating 5 times a day, doesn't matter even if you're binge eating or munching or whatever, your body will release sugar. So avoiding sugar, when we say we are on a diet, I don't want to eat sugar, I don't want to eat carbs, but then I eat 5 times a day, that is anyway going to produce sugar in your body. So intermittent fasting done in a right way has lot of health benefits. It helps you lose weight. It balances your blood sugar level. It is very helpful for people who have diabetes, especially, and hypertension. So it has its own good, but if it is done in a wrong way, there might be side effects as well.
Yeah, I've heard that when you actually are in fasting phase, that your body's energy source moves on from the sugar, i.e. glucose, into a fatty acid source.
Yes.
So whether it be, the body carries a lot of fat, that they use that fat to burn that to create energy. And at the same time, when they burn that energy, they create this chemical called ketosis, where
Yes.
it goes into your brain, it goes into different parts, and it's created from your liver. And
Yes.
I heard that has so many benefits, but the science behind it sounds extremely, a little bit difficult to understand. How does burning sugar and then going to fatty acids create this kind of chemicals coming out?
See, body has a great system inside, right? It's a very deep subject. We have around 10 to 11 system inside our body, endocrine system, digestive system, respiratory system, muscular skeletal system. All these systems are working hand in hand, right? So human anatomy is a very, very vast subject. You will have to understand what is happening when you're eating food. Actually, digestion starts from your mouth. When you're chewing your food, when the bolus, that's where all the sugar starts getting digested. So it's from the time you start eating to the time food is digested, it's a 4 hours process. So when this is happening, body is doing some internal work which we can't see, right? So body needs a lot of blood to go to the stomach, because stomach is breaking the food, and then it needs more oxygen, and then blood from all the parts of the body is moved to stomach. So this is a very vast subject. If I have to explain it to you scientifically, we'll probably have to have a very long session. But internally, they are interdependent on each other. So when you eat food, digestive system is working, and what happens when you're not eating food? Your stomach is not doing a lot of work. That means other systems are also not working, right? And first the body takes sugar, whatever sugar is stored in your body, to give you energy. Once that store, whatever sugar is stored in your body, is over, then the body moves to fat. So it doesn't, that's why intermediate fasting doesn't happen like in one day, right? So when you start it, body will first move to the reserves you have for sugar in your body. Only when the sugar reserves are completely exhausted, then the body will move to fat. I hope that explains your answer.
Yeah, sure. And how long does this sugar remain in your body? So I guess it depends really on what you ate the time before, but usually I read that it could take up to 12 hours to burn it, and then you get into this ketosis
Yes.
period. Is there any scientific research done on how long this ketosis will happen?
I am not too sure about it, honestly. I don't know the exact number of hours, but I know that every time we eat food, body starts to release insulin automatically. So it doesn't matter what are you eating, body will release insulin. So that sugar is anyway there, and this is healthy. You need that healthy insulin to digest the food in your body. So how long it takes or how many hours it remains in your blood sugar, in your blood, I have no idea. I'll have to look into and find out if there's any research done on this.
And then I guess it depends on the quality of the food that you eat as well. So let's say during this 5 days or 8 hours that you're eating, if you're eating very high processed fat foods, burgers and hot dogs, and then you go into this ketosis state, it doesn't seem like it's the same as eating very healthy foods and then go into this ketosis state. So how can we decide what to eat during this time that we're actually eating?
See, what you mentioned just now is eating unhealthy food like processed food, burgers and pizzas and fries, and then going on intermittent fasting is definitely not going to help, because this is very unhealthy food. Unhealthy food means our body doesn't need it, right? Our body is capable of producing pretty much everything, to be very honest. If you go scientifically, our body can produce most of the minerals and nutrients and proteins we need to survive. We actually need very little from external sources of food, right? We don't need large portions of food or anything. If you see the amount of zinc or minerals or vitamins we need are like very small in units. So for example, amino acid, right? We have around 20 types of amino acids which are actually protein. Our body can produce 11 types of amino acids on its own internally. There are 9 types of amino acids which body cannot produce. That's why we are dependent on food to get the other 9 type of amino acids to have all the balance of protein in our body. Some people say Eating chicken is healthy because, yes, because chicken has all the 9 amino acids, chicken and fish. That's why doctors also recommend you to eat chicken and fish, because it has all the 9 amino acids in one piece. But if you're a vegan, you need to have different plant based or lentil based food to get 9 amino acids from different sources, right? So you might get 2 from one and 3 from other. But if you have a balanced meal throughout the week, for example, you eat lentil, you eat vegetables, you eat healthy carbs, your body will get all 9 without any problem. You don't have to be a meat eater to get all 9 amino acids. So what I'm trying to say is, why we need to choose healthy food is our body needs this to have the right balance of minerals, proteins, carbs, and fats. And if we are eating unhealthy, we are defeating the purpose. We are not serving our body right. So we eat unhealthy and then we go on intermittent fasting. So no point. You eat healthy food, give those things which your body is not able to produce on its own. Or, there are soluble and there are some kind of vitamins which are soluble and some are not soluble. So body can restore some kind of vitamin, like vitamin C. You have to take it every day because it flushes out of your system on a daily basis. Body doesn't have a system to restore it or lock it inside. So being wise, why are you eating this food? What are you getting when you're eating this food? How are you helping your body to fill the gap of missing minerals and nutrients and fats and proteins? Is, going to help you eat or choose healthy options, rather than thinking, oh, I am doing keto, but I can eat anything I want to. Definitely not. So that's the logic behind why do we need food. We need food only to fill in the gaps, which our body is not able to produce on its own.
And sometimes we think about these off days, cheat days that we call it, so we could eat whatever we want. And I think a lot of people fall into that trap, as we were just discussing right now. Oh, on the cheat days, I could eat pizza, I could eat ramen, or whatever unhealthy foods that will satisfy our appetite for eating really bad stuff. I mean, does this even make sense at all, right? I mean, it really doesn't, because you're trying to go onto this really healthy path of eating, and then you call these cheat days where you eat really bad food. So what is some ways that we can change our minds into thinking, oh, we should be eating healthy food? Because I think a lot of people, very high intellectual people like yourselves can think scientifically and also mindfully that eating healthy food is good for the body. But a lot of people fall into the trap that I'm going to wait 16 hours so I could get that prize during that 8 hours that I'm allowed to eat. So what can you give in terms of encouragement to the people who are actually going on to this path of trying intermittent fasting?
See, for me, what you just asked is a sign of weak mind. When you're mentally not strong and you still want to do it because everybody in your community or your society or your office is doing it, that shows that you're mentally not prepared for it, but you just want to do it. And feeding yourself like cheat days and cheat meals is just satisfying your mind. So it's a weak mind, which is not able to be on the track. So if you want to get healthy, if you want to take the route of intermittent fasting, prepare your mind first. More than your body, your mind needs to be strong. And all this cheat days and cheat meals, for me, it's bullshit, to be very honest. Like I mentioned, you need to ask yourself this question: why am I eating what I'm eating? Why? What is the reason behind? Am I eating to satisfy my taste buds only? Sometimes it's only for the tongue we eat, to satisfy our tongue. I mostly tell this to my clients as well. This 3 inches or 4 inches of our tongue, to satisfy this, we have to pay a heavy cost. The whole body suffers. 5 feet of body. So to satisfy 3 inches of your tongue, your body has to suffer. So mindset needs to be very strong. Don't fall into the trap of it. If you're not ready for it, Maybe or not, because I believe there's no one size fit all. So if you think intermittent fasting is not for you, don't do it. But at least eat healthy, you know, plan your meals wisely, you know, have gaps between your, in Ayurveda, we say between every meal, there should be at least 4 hours of gap. Like I mentioned, because the reason is scientific again. Every time you start eating, your body is producing sugar. So have a strong mindset, prepare your mind first, train your mind, ask yourself, am I ready for it? And why do I want to do intermittent fasting? Do I want to lose weight? Do I want to get rid of my diabetes? Do I want to be healthy? If your why is clear, I think then you will be strong. Otherwise, you'll give up. And having these cheat meals and cheat days and all these things, honestly, for me, it's bullshit. It's just mental satisfaction. I'm doing something, so I should be rewarded. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
excuse me, who are you
no.
doing it for? For your own self?
Yeah, I understand that completely. A lot of people want to do diets because they want to look good for the summer, or they want to look good just to please somebody, or they're gonna go do a photo shoot and they want to look nice before a wedding, perhaps, and they want to do intermittent fasting. But the thing is, with any diets, whether it's paleo or Atkins diet or whatever diets there are in the world, they are not that sustainable. And we're always trying to find the way to find what is suitable for us. And a lot of the why isn't it sticking for me comes from the actual motivation of doing it, right? Because is it temporary? Is it to satisfy our instant gratification for that actual shot that we're going to take, that we look really skinny and look good in our clothes, or are actually doing it so that we want to combat diseases, make ourselves healthy? I think a lot of these ulterior motives speaks a lot into how sustainable these diets are.
They are all crash diets. I call them crash diets. Either you will crash or the diet will crash. They are not sustainable. All the fake diets, like you mentioned, these are all temporary things. Transformational changes need daily implementation and it takes time. So, can I share something here? I am launching my book next week. I don't know if you can read the title, right? If you read this book, you will understand what is right for you and what is not right for you, what you should follow and what you should not follow. I have spoken a lot about, all the fake diets, fitness industry trying to sell you things, myths about breathing and meditation and yoga, and how your mindset works on all the aspects.
And I also heard the also benefits on intermittent fasting is that you create this in the ketosis state, that you create this chemical called BHP, sorry. And what it does is that ketosis goes into your brain and clears a lot of the clarity in mind. It goes to the hippocampus and clears the memory, clears the way that you can, create logic within your head. So I think that rather than just losing obesity or losing that extra fat that you want to get off before your wedding, it's about creating that mindset, creating that clear mindset that you want to go about into your life, into your business. And I think that what you're doing in your business and then also in your podcast as well is talking about how to create mindsets into entrepreneurship, how to create mindsets into building a great business. And I think that that's something that you can also implement into your daily rituals, I guess.
So true. I mean, if you don't have a clarity in your head, that's not going to help you. And I always say do something that is sustainable and that suits your lifestyle. Always do something which you can stick to, not like going up and down and up and down. So, mindset is very important. I help aspiring entrepreneurs clarity on what exactly they want to do in life, what is their passion, and why do they want to do what they want to do. Vision clarity, superpowers, being visible on social media, and trying to make an impact. It's so important that new entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs should know what direction or what route to take, because as most of us know that uh, 90% of the businesses fail within the first 1 year. People start and then they can't, because there's no consistency, there's no clarity, there's overwhelming information from social media, there is this FOMO, there is this shiny object syndrome. People are trying to sell, and then we compare ourselves to people who are successful, and then we have this negative inner dialogue, oh my god, how can they make it and why am I not able to do it? So I tell my clients, don't compare your beginning to someone's end. You are just starting now, and be consistent. You have to be consistent. If you're passionate about something, you have a vision, get clarity, stay focused, and be consistent. Every day you have to take action. You have to show up. Only then you will succeed. All the people who have got success today did not get it overnight, right? Most of them, you ask them, they had their struggles, they had their failures. Most of them took at least 5 years or 10 years or 7 years to reach where they are. So how can you compare yourself to them? You are just starting. Even if you're in your business for 1 year or 2 years, you're still new. So don't compare your beginning to someone's end.
And you've been doing this podcast, Bonfire Entrepreneurs. Yeah, I think you have around 30 episodes by now. And you've been talking to a lot of these successful entrepreneurs about health optimization and what their routines are or their mindsets are in building a great business. What kind of health habits have you find with consistent or an average between all these people that they implement into their lifestyle?
Most of my guests had one common answer I got was taking breaks. And I think which is so important for an entrepreneur, taking breaks between their working hours is so important. Because as a mindset and health coach, I understand, I also recommend people to do that. If you're sitting for 15 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, and you're so trying to work and finish your project, your focus, you're doing a lot of damage to your body and your mind. Because when you're sitting with wrong posture, you're dropping your chest down, you're compressing all the organs inside. Your lungs are moving down, compressing your stomach, your heart, your liver, and then there is lack of blood flow. So every 55 minutes or every 1 hour, I tell people to put an alarm on their phone at least for 1 month. Stand up. Stand up, and when you stand up, you lift your chest up. Immediately the blood circulation in the middle part of your body improves, right? And I normally advise them to walk for a few minutes, or take a break, just go drink water or look outside, admire nature. Taking breaks. Another secret I will tell you, which most of the people don't know, why do we feel good when we stand up? I'm sure most of us have experienced when we are sitting like this, we are feeling very lethargic and low, and suddenly we stand up and we feel there is a boost of energy in our body. We feel more confident. The reason is energy in our body is restored here in the ribs, right? So when you're sitting, ribs are also compressed. And then, there's no energy. The moment you stand up, there is a space created between your ribs here, and then you feel energetic. That's why taking breaks every hour, correcting your posture, standing, walking, this will improve the blood circulation and oxygen in your body. It will help you escape many physical and mental ailments. Just one small thing to begin with.
Yeah, and I think it means the same thing with the intermittent fasting is that your body needs to rest as well, to rejuvenate and give it a rest, I guess.
Yeah. Rest, giving rest to your body, to your eyes, to your brain, because we are constantly looking at screens. Even if we are not on our laptops, we have our mobiles. We sleep with our phone, we wake up with our phone. So you need to take rest for your eyes, for your brain, for your body.
Yeah, something that I've done when I was still back in school was that when I was preparing for an exam, I would study quite a lot, and I would take 2 hours to study, and then I'd take a 30-minute break, and 2 hours and 30-minute break. And those were some things that actually helped me quite a lot, because if I didn't have those 30-minute breaks, there's no way I could have gone, full clarity, concentrate for 4 hours straight. So, I think that works the same as a lot of the work techniques as well. I heard a lot of people use these stand-up desks as well, because they
Yes.
keep themselves elevated. Their lungs are and their ribs are open so that you can breathe. I see you walking around when you do your podcast. I know you're not sitting down. I do a lot of phone calls. When I do my phone calls, I would do it walking around, because that actually activates my brain a lot more than being sitting down. Because I think I feel like I've been more clogged when I'm sitting down. So maybe I could take some advice from you from doing podcasts walking around.
Yeah, mobility is the key to longevity. Move it or lose it. I say our body is like machine. Keep moving it, but don't overdo as well. So standing for 4 hours is equally not good, because you're putting a lot of strain on your hip joints, your knees, and your ankles. So there should be a right balance of sitting and standing.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, thank you very much for your time. It was super insightful tips, and I definitely want to incorporate some of the things that you actually said. I do sometimes intermittent fasting, but never consistently, unfortunately. And this is something that I think I really need to get back into, and gave me a little bit more clarity on how to do it. So, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Hi, this is your host Takatoshi Shibayama. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Now, if you enjoyed or disliked this show, please let me know by writing in the comment section. The only way I can improve or add value to you is through your voices. If there are any topics that you would like me to pick up, please also let me know in the comments. I'd love to start chatting with you all. And if you would like to continue watching the show, please subscribe. Thank you.